I'm going to be reviewing Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. So this is the first movie I'm reviewing that's no longer on the IMDb Bottom 100 list, at least not currently or recently. It was, though. I found an old archive list of the Bottom 100 from, I believe, 2004. So this one is definitely a bad movie, no doubt. I think it still has like a 3.4 on IMDb. Not good. So let's just crash into the plot of this thing. Doesn't have much of a plot, honestly. It is mostly just a bunch of Beatles covers by various people that are strung together into a plot? Not really. Not much of a plot going on. Basically what happens at the beginning is there is a big band called Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band that somehow ended World War II. Sgt. Pepper eventually dies, and then somebody has to take over and restart the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And, you know, obviously those people need to be Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees. So there's a lot of Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees covering Beatles songs in this thing. They are the main characters. They're not really actors by much definition. Yeah, so that's what happens here. Basically, they are the new Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. There's a plot where a record label wants to sign them into some huge deal. There's a real estate guy in town called Mr. Mustard, Mean Mr. Mustard, that doesn't like them and is trying to sabotage them. You see, because everything is Beatles songs, there's not a lot of ways to flesh out the narrative. So yeah, it's mostly, there's not much to talk about. I mean, they do get this big record deal, and then it goes to their heads, I think, as they sing irrelevant songs about things. Aerosmith does come together in sort of a band battle thing.
This was the enemy. FVB, Future Villain Band.
Peter Frampton's girlfriend is kidnapped. Things go awry. Things go poorly. There's a hot air balloon, if I remember correctly. More Beatles covers. And, you know, I just... The plot, that pretty much covers the plot. Bad things happen. There's a lot of Beatles songs that are covered. And then it gets to the end, and this is truly an amazingly bad ending to this movie. After the plot is all wrapped up, and, you know, the day has been saved... it's actually a pretty gloomy ending at that point. Things have gone wrong, things are not going well. So what has happened, I guess I don't care about the spoilers. The girl dies, they fail to save her, and she dies, but then they solve everything else, and then Peter Frampton's super sad and decides to jump off of a building. But just as he is jumping off the building, a weather vane turns into a new Sgt. Pepper? It's a weather vane of Sgt. Pepper that spins and turns into a person who freezes time, resurrects the dead, saves Peter Frampton's life, prevents him from killing himself, all while singing Get Back. And then that's a happy ending. That's literally the end of the movie, is Deus Ex Machina, Deus Ex Weather Vane. They're never established that the weather vane was magical. Like, I'm almost tempted to say there's like an odd sort of meta plot going on here, that Peter Frampton's character is killing himself and then has, as he's dying, this sort of vision of, oh, everything could still be great, because the weather vane will save us. Yeah. So yeah, that's actually how this movie ends, is that everything's gone to shit. The plot is mostly wrapped up. They win, but the girl dies and everyone's depressed. They actually sing, what is it, Golden Slumbers, and You Gotta Carry That Weight, while they're carrying her casket, which is so classy. Good work. Um, so yeah, he just fixes all the bad things at the end of the movie. And then I think he turns back into a weather vane. I don't think he gets to finish the movie with them. So yeah, I don't know. It's not even clear that it's Sergeant Pepper. It's not the same actor who was Sergeant Pepper. It's not implied that Sergeant Pepper's resurrected to save them. He's not the magical Jesus Sergeant Pepper or anything. Wow. Yeah, I don't even know. Oh, there's also a plot point during the movie that they have to collect all of Sergeant Pepper's old instruments. Like, the Mr. Mustard guy steals them or hides them or something. I don't remember why or how that was going to help them. Magic, maybe? The point is, like, there is a plot that they're trying to connect together using Beatles songs. And it just doesn't work at all. Like, you can have some Beatles songs in the movie and maybe, have some reference to Beatles characters and have a half-decent, okay, easily watchable movie. And that movie's called Across the Universe, by the way. That actually happened. Yeah, watch this and Across the Universe, and a lot of people didn't like Across the Universe much, but they at least told a story while integrating Beatles music and characters, whereas this is just a mess. They really had a story in mind and then tried to find songs that would fit what they're talking about. It just doesn't work at all. I will say that some of the covers aren't bad. There's some... I actually kind of like the Aerosmith Come Together. There's a few other good ones in there. Surprisingly, it could have been much worse, I guess, on the musical side. But the fact is, this movie is just the soundtrack. As a movie, it's a total failure. It's just a complete mess. But if you're interested in Beatles covers, like, done okay, most of them are okay. It seems like they were trying to repurpose the Beatles, like, bring in the Beatles fans and fans of more recent music into the same thing. But yeah, there's just not a story here. There's not even a lot of opportunity to showcase any kind of acting because they're mostly just singing. And, even a musical isn't constant music. Or, at least the music is written in such a way that it's telling a story. There's just no story here. If you're interested in watching a super long music video with Steve Martin as a dentist, yeah, Steve Martin's in it as a dentist. Maxwell Silverhammer, I think, is actually his name. Yeah. Yeah, if you kind of accept it for what it is, which is sort of a visual companion to the soundtrack, then I guess it's alright. But, I can't really recommend watching this unless you're a hardcore Beatles fan, maybe? Or if you just really like the music, but there's not a story. Like, I guess a good comparison to this would be Tommy, which actually does go through the whole album, but the album tells a story. It's a rock opera. You can watch the thing, and there's a linear progression. It's not just random songs from the discography of The Who thrown into, a movie. Yeah, I get it. This obviously, it's not on the bottom 100 anymore. It still has a really low, ranking. But, it's one of those things. This isn't really a film. It's not a narrative. So I don't really know what to say about it. If you're a fan of the Beatles or you're just kind of curious, it's worth watching. A lot of the tone doesn't make sense. The ending is... maybe you can just look up the ending on YouTube and enjoy that. Because after all this dark stuff happens and everybody's sad and they've buried the girlfriend, the weather vane comes alive and saves everything. Ugh. Yeah, that's all I gotta say on this. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Wow.
Get back! was another man. All the girls around said she's got it coming, but she gets it while she can. Get back, yeah. Get back to where you once belong. Get back, yeah, woo. Get back to where you once belong. Get back, yeah. Get on back. Get back to where you once belong. Get back, yeah. Get on back. Get back to where you once belong. Get back, yeah, woo. Get back. Get back to where you once belong. Now, get back, yeah. Get on back. Get back to where you once belong. Get back, yeah, woo. Get back. Get back to where you once belong. Get back, yeah, woo. Get back. Get back to where you once belong. Get back, Loretta. Your mama's waiting for you with her high-heel shoes and a low-neck sweater. Get back, Loretta.